Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to address you, the delegates of the New York Farm Bureau State Annual Meeting. Welcome to Rochester. More importantly, I would like to thank you for giving your time and effort to serve New York Farm Bureau and our members. I know it isn't easy to be away from your families and farms, but the work that will take place here over the next few days is critical to our mission to serve and strengthen agriculture. The wonderful video we just watched highlighted why there is much to stand up for when it comes to farming in New York. The beautiful images and powerful words fill me with pride and are certainly relatable to why we are in this room right now. Our differing views will be on display this week as we consider a wide array of public policy resolutions. But also this week there will be much to unite us as well. Our duty to our farms, our land, our families, and our country is hard to deny. They are what every farmer has in common, and that is what New York Farm Bureau celebrates. Many of you I've known for years, and others I am meeting for the first time. This is one of my favorite parts of the state annual meeting, getting to see old friends and colleagues from across the state. We catch up on life and families, share stories from our farms, and talk about the issues of the day that impact all of us in one way or another. We all share a common bond in this room. We want our farms to succeed. We want to produce a high-value product. We all want public policies that reflect our needs and remove barriers that stand in our way. We want a strong Farm Bureau because every farmer benefits from our successes. Unfortunately, we have lost some of our Farm Bureau members over the past year that have helped make us strong. Trooper Chris Skinner, our former Public Policy Director, Leland Beebe, County Leader Niles Davies, Marge Seacrest, a lifelong Farm Bureau member and someone who made sure we had our punctuation correct, Max Fisher of St. Lawrence County, Dick Keene, and as was mentioned earlier, last week we lost Rockland County President Linda Hill. Please, throughout this week, take a moment and just remember those who have passed and what they have meant to us at New York Farm Bureau. The legacy they have left is being realized this week. We are here to carry on that legacy for the next generation of farmers, much like past members have done for us. I also want to take a moment to recognize our farm families who've been dealing with such devastation in Western New York. We have all seen Mother Nature at her worst, but few could believe the pummeling some of our farms took in the record lake effect snow. Fellow farmers responded to offer help to their neighbors. Farm Bureau worked with the state and federal officials and Cornell Cooperative Extension to coordinate a response. The snow is proof that much of what we do is put into God's hands. He tested us as well this spring and summer with the rains that never seem to end. They impacted our growing season and undoubtedly diminished the harvest for many. The challenges never cease, but they also do not keep us down. Farm Bureau, like the people of this great country, has always prevailed when called upon to serve. The thought of this reminds me of a famous New Yorker, and honestly I didn't know he was from New York, Uncle Sam. He got his name from Samuel Wilson of Troy, New York. Sam was a meat packer who helped send rations to soldiers in the War of 1812. Stamped on the boxes of the meat were the initials UNS. Though it stood for the United States, the joke was that the food was from Uncle Sam. Of course, the common vision of Uncle Sam, dressed in his red, white, and blue, took off during World War I. With the point of his finger, he uttered those famous lines, "I want you." The image was used to recruit men and women into service for their country. I can't help but think how that line fits into what we are doing here today. Each one of us is here to offer our services to our fellow farmers, to our counties, into our Farm Bureau. I want you to have a strong future in farming. I want you to be able to run your farm or business without burdensome regulations. I want you to be able to support your family. I want you to be able to support your rural communities. I want you to have someone who works hard for your rights. I want you to leave a legacy for your children. I want you to have an influential Farm Bureau. And I want you to stand with me to build a bigger, better Farm Bureau. Granted, you are the choir in this room. Just the fact that you're here today shows your commitment to our wonderful grassroots process. But there is always the opportunity to do more and to share more. The future of every farmer depends on the successes of Farm Bureau. It is these efforts that helped us clear old hurdles and climb to newer heights over this past year. We have long called for an increase in the estate tax threshold to assist our growing family farms transition from one generation to the next. And we succeeded in getting that passed in Albany. The state bumped up the threshold to the $5 million federal level. Granted, we're still going to push to kill the death tax altogether, but to see movement on an issue that we helped lead the way on reflects the strength of New York Farm Bureau. The 18A energy surcharge on our electric bills, nothing more than an energy tax to each one of us in this room. It is also coming to an end. We repeatedly let our lawmakers know that this hurt every farmer in New York. It did nothing more than increase our cost of production and made us less competitive. Our leaders heard that call, and they are phasing it out for good. That wasn't all. New York Farm Bureau was successful in advocating for substantial changes to state liquor authority laws that will allow craft beverage makers to take advantage of new opportunities to reach customers. Just last month, the governor signed legislation that will allow counties to establish smaller agricultural districts of 250 acres, down from the current 500-acre level. This will especially support new farms in more densely populated and suburban areas. Protections from things like eminent domain and nuisance lawsuits are important in these communities that have a growing local food network. New York Farm Bureau also worked with lawmakers to establish a revolving loan program to assist beginning farmers. Accessing the money needed to start up an operation is one of the greatest challenges facing new farmers. We believe we can go further. We must continue to support those who want to enter the profession that we all love. Just last week, I had the honor to represent you in New York City in the first ever Downstate Upstate Farm to Table Summit, hosted by Lieutenant Governor Robert Duffy and Commissioner Richard Ball. The outcomes will work to get more of what we grow and produce in rural New York and rural Long Island to the consumers in the biggest market in the world. There are many opportunities that exist for our farms, and New York Farm Bureau will lead the way in opening those doors. This will include assisting in creating a new wholesale farm market proposed by Governor Cuomo that will serve to aggregate and distribute farm products to schools, institutions, and businesses in the metropolitan area. At the federal level, we also cleared one of the biggest hurdles, a new farm bill. Many of you made visits to Washington, D.C. You met with your representatives in districts. You wrote, you called, you emailed. You expressed our national priorities, including the need for better crop insurance for the fruits and vegetables that we grow so well here in New York. The Farm Bill also is transitioning to the new Dairy Management Protection Program. The Farm Bill is not perfect, but it does address more of our needs in New York State, and all of you should take pride in knowing that you helped make that happen. Immigration reform is another matter. It remains a major priority, but the fallout for the President's recent executive action is still playing out. Some of our farms and their workers may benefit, but it is not the long-term solution that our farms need. In fact, I fear it may make matters worse. It does not set requirements for people to stay in agriculture for a period of time. If qualifying immigrants move on to new jobs or other opportunities, there will be no one in the legal pipeline to replace them. Our labor shortage may have just become dire. What we need is a long-term solution, a flexible visa program to handle our seasonal needs, along with a solution to assist those who have been hardworking, valuable employees for years. We need a way for them to transition to a legal status that benefits them and our farms. That solution must come from Congress. New York Farm Bureau has a strong working relationship with a congressional delegation from the state, members of both parties, and we will be coordinating and working with them on a way to move forward on this critical issue. On a positive note, I could not be more pleased how our Ditch the Rule campaign went this year. Nearly 2,200 members sent postcards to the EPA opposing their effort to redefine waters of the U.S. under the Clean Water Act. 35 counties and 20 towns passed resolutions calling on the EPA to withdraw the rule. 9 other organizations, including the Business Council, the Association of Counties, and Conference of Mayors, and other business and government groups signed on to New York's Farm Bureau's letter to the EPA and Army Corps of Engineers. Twice, the EPA has extended the deadline of public comment periods because of the response that included our detailed concerns. And we must also thank the State Departments of Environmental Conservation and Agricultural and Markets for their supportive comments as well. New York State and its farmers have a strong environmental record. We don't need any more federal regulation to tell us to do more. We are doing more every day. On our own and working with our partners here in New York, we have the cleanest water to show for it. If this vague and confusing rule should take hold, it would be disastrous. More permits, more federal control of private land, more costs to our farms. We cannot let this happen. This is why I want you to continue to do your part to fend off these burdensome regulations that will hurt every farmer. Of course, this is not the only issue that we have taken EPA to the mat for. We are pushing back against the new proposed worker protection standards that will significantly alter how pesticides are applied on our farms. It will mean new burdens and more costs without any proven benefits. When we speak as one, the EPA does listen. They heard us when we opposed their plans for the renewed fuel standards program. They withdrew the plan, but have yet to issue any new standards on a program that reduces our dependence on foreign oil, is environmentally friendly, and means more jobs in rural communities. We urge them to act. The issues of energy are complex and critical for every farmer in this state. Next year, with the approval of your board of directors, I will establish an energy task force to examine our renewable energy policies. This will help guide us in the future and establish our priorities on energy issues that lawmakers continue to grapple with. Other important priorities for New York Farm Bureau, including establishing a workable K-fuel permit that is currently under review, and continuing to work with OSHA on their local emphasis program so they understand the complexities of the dairy industry in our farms. I take pride in knowing the relationships we have built through the years with our representatives in Washington and Albany. Last week, our annual Circle of Friends list was released. It is long and it is bipartisan. And it demonstrates that we have a lot of people who support us in Albany. But we can't take that support for granted. That is why we are building an even stronger Farm New York PAC. We saw substantial growth over the last year, and I would like to thank all of you who have donated. The PAC is a necessary part of what we do. It is important to have face-to-face communication with our leaders both in and outside of their offices. If we are going to be out in front on the public policy challenges of the day, we need to be part of every discussion on the issues that matter to every farmer. The same can be said for legal challenges as well. The New York Farm Bureau Legal Defense Fund is another essential part of what we do. This year was an especially challenging one in the legal arena. We have donated nearly $50,000 over the past 3 years to a number of worthwhile causes. They included support for Long Island's efforts to fend off a lawsuit to halt a deer cull. Long Island Farm Bureau partnered with the USDA and local towns on the cull, only to see animal activists try to put an end to the responsible action. We also gave money to a lawsuit preventing the new CAFO thresholds from taking effect on dairy farms. We donated money to support American Farm Bureau's suit to oppose EPA's release of private information of our farmers, and we joined in the effort to underwrite litigation that opposes the SAFE Act. This is just some of what we've done in court to defend your interests. New York Farm Bureau's General Counsel Liz Drybush put it best when she said, "The fund works to protect farmers, their land, and how they farm." We are seeing more and more lawsuits targeting agriculture, and we need the ability to defend ourselves. Many of you have responded. Giving to the Legal Defense Fund is up this year. I will again like to thank you and express my gratitude to you who have long supported the fund. You never know when you or your county may need its help. One of our great partners in making all of this possible is Nationwide Insurance. From the corporate leadership and its chairman, Tim Corcoran, down to their agents on the ground. They value who we are and what we do. The relationship continues to grow, along with the number of new members that they are bringing into this organization. Like us, they too have members, not customers. And in the end, membership is everything. Without you, our members, we don't have an organization. We don't have the influence in Albany and Washington. And I firmly believe we would not have agriculture as we know it today in this state without New York Farm Bureau. Your grassroots efforts have paid off in many ways, and we will continue to reap those rewards following the successful state annual meeting here this week. I would also like to take the time to thank the work of our Promotion and Education Committee. They have used the tools created by the Farm Bureau Foundation for Agriculture and have spread the word about food and farming in New York State. I would like to recognize our Chair Phyllis Kuchar and former Chairwoman Ann Peck for their work on a task force to establish a National Promotion and Education Committee. And I would like to congratulate Phyllis, who will be serving as a member of the inaugural committee. Congratulations, Phyllis. You will learn more about the work of the Pro-Ed Committee and the Foundation over the next couple days. But think about where we would be without their help. The relationships we have with consumers is paramount. They must understand how we farm and why we make the decisions we do to care for our animals, the land, and what we grow. The Foundation helps us have that dialogue and is another worthy cause. And I would like to salute the work of our Young Farmers Committee. They are involved in many aspects of Farm Bureau and represent the future of our great organization. Just this morning, with Chair Nicole Rowley and her committee, I visited FoodLink, the regional food bank here in Rochester. We had the pleasure to announce that New York Farm Bureau's members have donated 9.5 million pounds of food to the food bank associations across this state. That is a new record, and the year isn't even over yet. Congratulations. I'd like to take the moment to speak about a man who has dedicated much of his life to Farm Bureau, Joe Gergala. He is retiring this month as the Executive Director of Long Island Farm Bureau. Joe, thank you for your hard work and service. We wish you and Donna well in your retirement, and you will always be a member of New York Farm Bureau. Much of what we are doing here at State Annual Meeting reflects the values that each of us share: faith, family, and farms. The faith we have in our Heavenly Father guides us every day, but we also have faith in Farm Bureau, that what we are doing here will help us have a better tomorrow. All of our hard work is ultimately to support our families, to provide them with stability and a hope that our farms will be here for the next generation, that our farms will be able to feed our neighbors and the world. Our profession is an honorable one, worth fighting for. Let us never forget. Delegate session will commence shortly. It is the culmination of months of labor by the counties, the commodity and resolutions committees, our dedicated board of directors, and our staff. It is an undertaking like no other that I know of. May you have a healthy debate and make wise decisions. I wish you much success. And remember, we look forward to next year, the future of Farm Bureau, the future of every farmer. It starts right here. So it's Christmas time, the season of giving. The last couple years, we've been very forthcoming in providing you all gifts in the Christmas season to go home. One year it was signs. I think last year we had shirts. So this year is your Christmas gift. We have metal barn signs that we are going to give to every member here today. They have our Farm Bureau logo and the new Every Farmer tag. Please take it, display it proudly, and Merry Christmas. Melanie and I and the kids wish you a joyous holiday season and a prosperous new year.